When you're ready to stop dreaming about that Ferrari and actually own it, tune in to the About That Wallet Show. Learn sound financial concepts, behaviors, and applications, and make that dream car a reality. Why? Because you're worthy of the best. Here's your host, the exotic Anthony Weaver.
Welcome back, everybody. Back to another exciting show, the About That Water podcast, where we help the sandwich generation build strong financial habits so that they can talk about money, spend money, and enjoy their money with confidence. Today, I have somebody who is, you guys know who she is. She is such the amazing, the one, the only, Tiffany Grant, who has been doing so many great things out in the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
She is also a accredited financial counselor. If you don't know who she is, she's actually an MBA and author of the Wiley book author. Okay, high pinky there. Was a highly book author of the book Money Moves and Mindset Shifts. This is her first book, and I'm so glad to have her on the show to kind of really talk about, what's going on behind it, why she wrote the book, and just really dive right in. So, how you doing today, Tiffany?
I'm doing good. Hey, Anthony. It's so great to be here again. I have missed you and your audience, so I appreciate you joining me. I'm not the host today. I appreciate you having me on.
You're welcome. Keep in mind, so that those of you who are listening, if it goes in and out, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? If she's on the island internet, it's all right. We're gonna make it work. But we got this. So, one of the things that I greatly appreciate is that you constantly pushing the needle, not just in the podcast round, but in your life, and you're never giving up. And one of the things that a lot of parents and people feel as though times are tough and we just don't know where to go. And so writing this book, it can kind of feel that going through your story and learning the bits and pieces that you wrote throughout the book. So why did you bother even to write the book in the first place instead of just letting it live through your podcast?
Yeah, so that's a loaded question, and there is a very long answer to that question, but I'm gonna try to keep it short. I've always wanted to have a book because I just felt like, a book is like a tangible thing that you can pass around and, people can physically read. And I'm an avid reader myself. And so just having a physical book has always been on my radar. I had started writing one back in 2020, 2021, and that book never came to fruition. And so now here I am with this book, which I kind of wrapped up some of that book into this one. But, honestly, I will say getting the deal with Wiley really pushed me to get it done because, sometimes we need that extra motivation, that external motivation to get things moving. And so that's what happened to me. So it took me years to get this book done, but I'm glad that it's finally done and it's almost out there to the public.
I'd say almost out there. So when's it coming out?
It comes out September 29th. So right now I am in pre-order mode, and I never realized how difficult it would be to sell a book, but here we are. Because, contrary to popular belief, when you get a book deal, they do not help you really with selling it. They help you get it out there, but it's up to you to do the marketing and the selling. And so right now I'm currently in a pre-order sprint. I'm trying to get to 1,000 pre-orders by release in September. So wish me
Let's
luck.
go. How many do you have now?
That's a good question,
Okay.
because I actually can't see the numbers. I have to wait for them to report it back to me. But last I heard, which was like a couple of weeks ago, I was at like 20. So I have a long way to go.
Hey. Yep. Well, I mean, considering that, you know, uh, book writing is a lot, and especially around the holidays, everybody got their money tied up to other things. However, September's rolling around, back to school is coming up, and, it'll be a great time to actually have like a nice winter read when everybody go back to school and things kind of settle down. So, hey, let's make that happen.
Love, like if I can hit that. And I think one of the reasons why I'm pushing for this so much is because, me and doing my research, I learned that Wiley doesn't really have many authors of color, and particularly Black authors, and particularly Black women authors. So, in my research, it was like 5%. Like authors of color. So then if you keep narrowing it down, I'm one of few. And so with that being said, I want to prove a point with this. Like we are worth investing into. And so it's kind of, I don't know, like, and I know this sounds bad. I kind of want to stick it to them, but like, I just want to show them that we're worth the investment and then kind of pave the way for other Black women authors as well.
Mm. See, and that's one of the hardest parts that we don't hear about, especially as a lot of people who are thinking about writing a book and really putting their best foot forward and thinking that they're doing it all and not realizing that there's a huge gap in knowledge on how to produce a book for a person of color, or even somebody who has like a unique background, such as you yourself. And one of the things is that like your situation is unique, but you're not alone in your story. And I like that you were highlighting some of the great moments in your life and actually binding this up. And I appreciate you actually quoting yourself. And I thought this was actually pretty cool. Cause you put in here one of which I thought about credit cards. Cause I love credit cards. I love our cards. And you said, you cannot build a future on a foundation of ghosts. Silence the past so you can hear the opportunities of the present. And I was like, ooh, come on, Tiff, with the snappy snaps.
Yeah, and the reason I call it Ghosts is because the chapter that's in is about money ghosts of 2008, 2009 financial crisis, where I talk about the binder of credit cards that my mom had, or my mom saw when she was growing up, and then therefore she got a stack of credit cards that I saw, and that kind of was like a when 2008, 2009 happened, we ended up going through foreclosures and bankruptcies and all that stuff because we wasn't being responsible with credit. And so for me, that was a money ghost for me. Like I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so scared of credit," until I realized you have to have credit to have credit. And then I got over the fear and got my first card, and then my mindset flipped. So there we talk about the mindset shift where I'm like, okay, it's not credit that's bad. It's what we do with it that could potentially be bad. So if we use it responsibly, then, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing.
Yeah, I always, well, you know me, when I talk about credit cards, I always think about them like the stove or the oven. It's like, if you use it wrong, it could blow your house up. Like,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
if you use it properly, you can make a great meal. And because
So
you funnel that up really well.
yeah,
So
and I'm glad you said that because speaking of houses, right? When I first started actually getting a credit card, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna just get one. I'm gonna use it for small things, pay it off immediately, and do that cycle because I didn't want to carry a balance, right? Well, because of that, I was able to buy my first house back in 2017 when I was 26, somewhere up in there. Anyway, I was in my 20s, right?
right.
And I was like one of the only people in my circle that bought a house, and even still to this day, that bought a house. Now, fast forward, I have now the house is actually live on the market right now. I'm about to sell it, and I couldn't be here with that until I took that first step with silencing that money ghost way back when. You get what I'm saying? And just to give you a little bit, like I'm my net for the sale of this house is gonna be more than what I bought it for.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
so all of that because I silenced the money ghost, I made it happen, and then now here I am.
Yeah, because what you're building is almost like a legacy, and I'm gonna just kind of hop into because for me, like, what does a legacy mean to you? Like, from a financial legacy, what does that mean to you?
Well, legacy, and I talk about this in the book. it's way more than just money. So, yes, of course, there's the financial legacy. That's what most people talk about, so on and so forth. But there's also the intangibles that you're passing down, whether it's to your, and I talk about this in the book, it doesn't have to be your kids. It could be kids, it could be aunts. I mean, not aunts, nieces, nephews. I mean, it could be aunts. Don't get me
The
wrong, it could be aunts.
right.
It
I
could
mean,
be
some families out there, you know.
yeah, it could be literally anybody attached to you in any way, shape, or form. So, like when I used to work at the financial firm, I saw how people would leave legacies to organizations, to colleges, things like that. So, really, we should, you know, broaden our view of what a legacy is. For me, a legacy is not just the financial, it's also the psychological stuff that you're passing on to people, the or mental stuff. It is also my mind is blanking out.
It's
uh,
okay.
but in other words, it's just way more than money, and we place too much emphasis on the money part and not enough on the intangibles that are also being passed down as well.
Yeah, and that's how I started this show off with like talking about the habits. And one of the things I like you quoting yourself here. I love your own quotes. It's great. What you say, like paying yourself first, isn't a financial habit. It's a generational declaration that your future is a non-negotiable priority, not a leftover. And I was like, man, come on, Tiff. Like, Tiff, what are you digging in the crates for these? It's a great. Oh my God. Like, tell me more.
Yeah. So, you know, conventional wisdom, right, is all right, you pay all your bills. Well, you get your money in, you pay all your bills, and then whatever's left is what you have to work with, right? We always talk, oh, we just work with what we have, that type of thing. But my thing is, if we take care of ourselves first, which is not just taking care of our future selves, but also our present selves, because, we can get into the whole conversation about financial trauma, financial stress, and all that other stuff. But if you go ahead and pay yourself first, which is a lesson that I learned from my paternal grandfather, then you can start building, the legacy or saving up for your future self. So for me, when I'm teaching people how to budget or money manifest or whatever you want to call it, I always have them pay themselves at the top first. So typically it goes, your charitable or, ties, whatever it is, then yourself and then everything else. Because if you do it the other way, you'll realize that you end up with nothing at the end. So, because there's always going to be something tugging at your money. That's just the way consumerism and capitalism is set up. And so, until you make the conscious decision to go ahead and put that money to the side for yourself, it'll never happen. And I've seen it time and time again with all the clients that I've had over the years.
Yeah, you always think like, well, I can dip into my emergency fund and pay this bill off, and you never pay your emergency self
Hmm.
back again.
Yep.
I've been there.
Me too. No, me too. And that's the thing
Right.
as well. Like, nobody is exempt from this, right? So, even though I'm an accredited financial counselor and I help people with this all the time, I've gone through the same struggles. I go through the same struggles occasionally. You know what I'm saying? But it's not what happens to you, is what you do after what happens to you that determines your outcomes. So, and that's a theme that's throughout the book. Like, it's not the circumstances that I had that I brought upon myself. It's more of what I did afterwards, that determined my trajectory.
Yeah, because you mentioned slightly about financial trauma. And you have one of the things in here which I really love, which was talking about the voice of doubt and really overcoming your fear of tracking. And one of these obstacles, I love that you have the obstacles and then your mindset shift. The obstacle that I hear a lot, no matter who you talk to or whatever, everybody goes through these same things. It said that I'm scared of what I'll find. I'd rather not know on how bad it really is. Can you talk about some moment when you had to do through that?
Yeah, so briefly, I want to talk about because I'm glad you brought up the voice of doubt. So, in every chapter, there's at least one section that is a voice of doubt. It has the objectives, and so the objectives is what you're telling yourself right now, probably as you're reading this book. And then the mindset shift is how you can then flip it to your advantage instead of it being a negative. And so, throughout the book, you'll see those little nudges. Now, going back to your question about hearing people say, "Well, I rather just avoid it, if I don't look at it, it never happened,"
Mhm.
type
Yep.
mentality. But I also do a case study in the book too, where it's called the ostrich approach, right? So you just dig your head in the sand and you're like, okay, you peek up, is it gone yet? Is it gone yet? And I'm here to tell you it's not going to go away. So, what you have to do is kind of, confront these things head on. And then all that mental energy and stuff that you're expending with the ostrich approach, if you actually attack it and you actually see your numbers in black and white, it's way more like, whew, like you could just let go, so you're
Mm,
wasting all this mental energy when you can just breathe. So to your question though, when have I experienced that? Well, quite a bit over my life. But to give you a concrete example, I remember, and I talk about this in the book too, where I was in a revenue trap. So I had a business that was making a lot of money, lots of money, right? We talk about like $500,000 in a year. And at the same time, I could see the back end numbers, the net. And I'm like, oh gosh, like, we're using credit cards left and right. We going on, we doing all of this and all of that. And I was time in my life because I'm like, "Oh my gosh, um, you know, what does this look like?" So I actually hired somebody. I hired a bookkeeper to go over the numbers, to make sure they were accurate because I was halfway keeping up with it myself. I was busy with the business. And so I hired a bookkeeper, and once she went in, she, made sure everything was good. She did her management reports. And when I looked at that, I said, "Oh shoot." Like this is, and I told my husband at the time, my ex-husband, I said, "Are you sure you want to keep running this?" Because the reality of the situation is, yes, it makes a lot of money. However, it costs a lot of money to run. And so at the end of the day, we're kind of turning our wheels here. And it's those moments where you can finally make some changes, which in that case, I said, I could make more money running Money Talk with Tiff net than
wow.
I'm doing, here. So I started pivoting to Money Talk and I taught him how to run that business so that way I can free myself up to do my business. But yeah, you can't make strategic decisions, whether it's in your life or your business, without being one with the numbers. You have to know your numbers.
Got you. Now, one of the things that I've realized is that in fear, it kind of pushes us to do things that we were never really would do on our own. So it's like, did you have help during that process?
Help in what way? Like
Like
with the
to like just in mindset shifts, like because you're going through it, and sometimes like somebody might have said something to you, like, "Oh, well, I never thought about it that way," or maybe let me go revisit what so and so said like a year or two ago.
Mm. For that particular case, no. But what was the trigger for me was I was tired. I was just very tired, both physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, just tired in all the things. And so I'm like, something has to give. And then that's when I decided to, start digging into it a little deeper. But to your point, I also tell people it's hard to see the label when you're in the jar. So if you're in the thick of it, you can't really see what's on the outside. And so having that person, so I've been that person, and there's been people that's been that person for me too over the years, but I'm usually that person with my clients to be like, you know, they're coming to me and they're in like panic mode. And I'm the person like, you know what? It's actually not that bad. Or, you know what? It does look a little bad. Cause I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm be like, it does look a little bad. However, we can get out of this. So sometimes you need, and I talk about that too, you need counsel. You need because stewardship is my thing. So you need a stewardship council. You need four different people. You need the truth teller.
Hmm.
You need the person that's going to hold you accountable and not care about your feelings. Um, you need somebody that is going to be your, let's go,
Yep.
that type of person. And my mind's going blank, but there's a couple more. But though you need one of everybody, at least one of everybody, to keep you well rounded. And I'm so grateful that I have had that and I can be that to some people.
Well, you're that for me, and you don't
No,
care about my feelings. You're like, you straight tell me, they ain't gonna
no, no,
work, ain't
no.
it? No, they ain't gonna work. Go back to the drawing board. It's like, all right, thanks to
But to
right.
that point, how much better does that make you though? Like,
Well, it makes you
to have
tons better, you know. But like you said, you do need that somebody to kind of like root for you, but also pull you to the side, but like, nah, that ain't it, you know. And I
and
appreciate you
and
for that.
and to give the audience, because like before this call, right? And I hope you don't mind, I'm texting back and forth with Anthony, and I'm like, "So what'd you think about the book?" Because he's like one of the only people that have read it at this point. There's literally like two people other than me that have laid their eyes on it. He's one. So I'm like, "Well, what'd you think? What'd you think?" And he's like, it was just silent. So I'm like, so I'm just like, I seek out constructive criticism. That's where I'm going with this. I seek that out because I know that's what could make me better as a person. And so, I appreciate people like Anthony that'll keep it real with me, even though he said he liked it and it was great and blah, blah, blah. I know if it was horrible and it just missed the mark, he would have told me. And so I appreciate people like that in my circle. And yeah, I can go on a few tangents about that, but it's just good to have, um, your council of stewards. It's important.
Yeah, and I appreciate you. You know, for the candor and actually trusting me with the book to read it. Um,
Now I
to
gotta kill
some,
you. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
know.
Just joking.
Next thing you know, I had no more access to the book at all.
Right.
Right. You gotta go buy your own copy. Keep in mind, I already did do my pre-order, so don't worry. Don't kick me out there in the streets, okay? So,
No, right. I appreciate it. Mhm.
so what's next for you? And going forward, now that you got the book out there, I know it's still coming, but there's still more to life. Like, what's your next plans? What do you want to achieve next?
Very loaded question once again. As you know, I'm always doing something. I
Yeah.
always have stuff going on. So I'm sure that's why you asked that question.
Hmm.
So the book, of course, that is my main priority right now. Like I said, I'm in the pre-order sprint, trying to get to 1,000 pre-orders by September 29th. Once it hits, I'm trying to sell, get this book in as many hands as possible because I do believe that it's a life changer. Other than the book, though, I am located in Negril, Jamaica. So I moved May 2024 from the US, never going back. But here,
You didn't say it loud
I
enough. I'm sorry.
never, no, I was kidding. But
Never.
here, I've been working on a few projects with, some other people where we're trying to better business in Negril, Jamaica. And so, I'm not going to give away too many details, but we have some things coming down the pipeline where we're giving the businesses of the grill more help, more resources, things of that nature. And just a quick plug on that. If you want to be part of that movement, just hit me up, let me know, Tiffany at moneytalktea.com.
Got it. And for those of you who are watching, you can always add a comment if you have any questions. By all means, this is a live show. But it will be recorded and slapped on to all the platforms in just about 2 hours after this. So we're good to go. No pressure on you, Tiffany. Sorry, no pressure. Is there anything that you want to leave the audience before we dive into these final four questions?
Um, I think really just emphasizing the dual track purpose of the book. Because a lot of money books either hit on the practicality and not the mindset stuff, or it hits
Very
on the
true.
mindset stuff and not the practicality. So I was bold in this, and hopefully it doesn't fall flat, but where I'm tackling both at the same time. So the chapter is the practical application. And then, we have the mindset shift blocks throughout where we're going over what your mind is saying, like, telling you can't do, or telling you something negative in regards to this chapter, and how you can flip that switch immediately as it's happening throughout the chapter. Um, is also broken up into 5 parts. I start with the internal revolution because I feel like that's where everything starts in all of this. You have to get your mind right in order to get your money right. And then also it has a lot of appendices. I'm like, I probably went overboard with the stuff, the matter in the back of the book, but I just wanted to make sure people had enough substance there. So, you'll find worksheets and all types of stuff. And then on top of that, there's QR codes in all the books where you get access to a resource vault that has 15 different additional tools than what's in the book, calculators, all types of stuff, which if you pre-order, you get access right now instead of waiting until
So you said
September.
15? Wow.
Yeah, so and that's in addition to what's already in the book. So, online, you get 15 different tools, calculators, worksheets, things like that. That's exclusive to online. And I actually built everything myself using
So
AI.
you're so talented. Well, we ain't gotta tell everybody is using AI. I mean, back in the day, people
Real.
copy and pasting workbooks.
I mean, ain't no shame in my game. Shoot. I'm just proud of
Right.
myself that I built actual calculators that actually work and that actually can help people do stuff. So I have, like, for instance, I have a tool on
Yeah.
there where it's for you to evaluate your stewardship council. So does this person align with you,
Oh,
and it grades them. So, if there's any question on if this person should be in your circle or not, I try to help you figure that out. So
alrighty. So ready for so you ready for the final four?
yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. I don't have like a chime music, but we're gonna throw something in there. All right, so this is what we got. We got the final four questions. I'm not sure how loud that is, but it's fine. It's very low on my end, so it's fine. All right. So, final four questions. Number one, what does wealth mean to you?
Well, if you would have asked me this a few years ago, I'll be like, of
I
course,
did.
money.
I did ask you a few years ago.
Well, before that.
Right.
but but it used to be about money, but for me, wealth is definitely health right now. Like, I feel like if you're not and when I say health, it's not working out and all that stuff because I don't do that, but just making sure that I'm just a real person. Just making sure that um, it extends beyond money for me. It's mental, it's spiritual, it's health related, it's all of that stuff. That's wealth for me.
Alrighty. Number two, what was your worst money mistake?
Getting married to the wrong person. Let's say that.
Okay. I was about to.
Because I'm not gonna say getting married because I do believe in marriage.
Mhm.
However, I feel like even if you're not married, just being with the wrong person could really set you back a lot.
Yep.
So, date and marry wisely. I think that was my biggest money. I'm not gonna say mistake, but lesson.
Okay.
My
I
biggest
might have
money
to change
lesson.
that to money lesson.
Mhm.
What was your biggest money lesson? Yeah. All right, let me change this real life. Let's see.
Not
Biggest money lesson. I'm changing it for going forward. Lesson. Because I mean, mistakes are only hindsight 2020. At the time, it's like you think you in it. So,
Mhm.
you just
And I
doing
believe
what you gotta do.
and personally, I believe nothing is a mistake. Everything happens for a reason. So, it's either a blessing, a lesson, or a messin'.
Lesson
No,
or
I'm just
lesson.
kidding.
I like that. Number 3. Is there a book that inspired your journey or changed your perspective?
Tons. There's a lot, but I would say the most impactful was probably Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robbins because it changed how I viewed spending money. So, like, one of the things she mentions in the book is looking at money as how many hours it takes you to get. So, like, if something costs $100 and you make, let's say, $50 an hour, then that's 2 hours of your life to spend on this one item. So, I feel like that was very, very impactful for me.
Gotta like it. Number 4. What is your favorite dish to make?
Mm, Post Jamaica move. Um, no, because
I
and I say that because what I cook here is very different than what I used to cook there because ingredients are expensive if they're not, Jamaican. And also the availability of ingredients is different. So I would say since I've been here, maybe saltfish fritters, which is stamp and go. Some people call it stamp and go, but I make some bomb saltfish fritters.
might have to take a trip down there one day and hang out for a little bit. Try this out.
Come on. The water's nice. No, I was kidding.
Okay. It's clear waters.
Right? World renowned beach, by the way.
Like, oh, well, who knew? Who knew? Okay. Last question of the show,
Yeah.
which is where could people find out more about you?
Yeah, so you can find me moneytalkwitht.com. That is the home base for everything Money Talk with Tiff related, but then also at Money Talk with T on literally all the social media platforms. I think I'm only not on Blue Sky and Truth Social, but I'm on everything else.
Well, you can find about that wallet on Blue Sky and not True Social, but on everything.
So we're just all collectively not on Truth Social. But anyway,
Well, right. This is not a political show,
no, it's
financial,
not.
lifestyle. And keep in
Yeah.
mind, if you made it this far, remember this is just a conversation between colleagues. As our disclaimer, I always say that we're just having a good time. Fireside chat. So remember, if you want to learn more about Tiffany or any other guest that's been on the show, definitely check out About That Wallet. Be on the newsletter. We do a monthly newsletter. Uh, I'll just say it's monthly. It comes out within the month. Newsletter at aboutthatwallet.com/newsletter. And yeah, continue to share this with somebody if you enjoyed it. Definitely buy Tiffany's book, Money Mindset, Money Shift,
So mindset
Money Move,
shifts. Money
Money
moves and
Moves, and
mindset
Mindset
shifts.
Shifts. So sorry, Tiff.
You're fine.
We're going to get
You
this
were
right.
close enough.
Okay. And this is live, so there's no editing. So this is what you're going to get. Okay. Okay. All right. All right, everybody. Y'all be safe. We out.
All right,
Peace.
bye.